Back on record in State v. Davis, C-377-407. Anything we need to address outside the presence before we bring the jury in?
Top of the state. No, you're not.
Okay, let's bring him in. Not ready yet?
I guess we should stand since they're coming in.
Step to jury.
Did the parties stipulate to the presence of the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may be seated. All right, we're on cross, so whenever you're ready, Mr. Sanft, you may proceed.
Mr. Ladd, welcome to Las Vegas.
Thank you.
Now, during your time in Compton, it seems like it was a pretty colorful time where you were there.
Very active, yes.
There's a movie called, I think, End of Watch. Have you ever watched that movie?
No.
Okay. Have you ever watched any movies at all from that time period? Like, say, I don't know what there was out there. Any of the LAPD movies during that time period? Have you ever watched any of those?
You have to be more specific.
I know.
Sorry.
And I'm trying to figure out. There's another one out there besides End of Watch. You share basically your experience working as a Compton police officer to the time you started working as a detective for gangs in a book that you wrote.
Yes.
And that book is called and entitled Once Upon a Time in Compton, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you do write this book in addition to Timothy Brennan, your partner.
Yes.
Now, in the book, I've read the book, and when you guys are working together as a team, it's Tim and Bob, right? In the book, you guys, Tim and Bob, we did this. Tim and Bob, we did that, right?
Yes.
Now, the book itself, as you created the book, fair to say that was a book that I would think that you would be proud of, the work that you put into the book.
Yes.
And in terms of the book itself, you could sit here basically as you're talking with us and this jury today, that the book is accurate in terms of what you recall during that time period, right?
Yes.
And you would have taken great pains to make sure that book was accurate before it was published.
Yes.
Meaning, for instance, if you read something in the book that wasn't accurate and it wasn't published yet, you would make a note to either tell Tim or this other lady, I think her name is Lolita, that, hey, this isn't quite right, I don't remember that, and there would be some discussion, maybe changing or something, right?
Yes.
Okay. And in order for you to write the book, and I think you published this book in 2017?
Correct.
And you started working for Compton in what year?
1983.
So, and you start off in the book from 1983 on in terms of your experience working as a police officer in Compton, as well as Tim's experience working as a police officer in Compton, right?
Yes.
Did you, I would imagine you would have used notes and that kind of thing to help refresh your recollection and help remind you of certain events, certain cases, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, because in the book, for instance, there's a lot of different people you run into. And there's a lot of different scenarios you run into as well, right?
Yes. Most of it was based off our memories, but
Yeah.
like for the search warrant or whatever, we could go back to a search warrant and look at that to refresh our memories.
Right.
Most of the stories are just from my memory.
Yeah, and fair to say, of course, it's also Tim's memory as well. So something that you would remember, he would remember, and vice versa, and you go, oh yeah, I remember this now, and you would say, oh yeah, I remember that now, right?
Yes.
So part of the book, in essence, really is a it's teamed up between you and Tim and Lolita writing the book for you.
It's a collaboration. Yeah.
Collaboration. Okay. Now, did you write any of the book yourself?
Basically we got Lolita Files to write the book, and we told the story to her.
Right, and so
she actually wrote it, but it's our story.
right, and Lolita, meaning that this was an experienced writer that you recall, right, before she wrote the book.
Absolutely.
And when she wrote the book, can you tell us a little bit about Lolita, who she was as a writer?
Yeah, she had several books that were published prior to that, and she was very up on the hip-hop scene. So when we got together, and we kind of just clicked, and we collaborated to write the book.
And in terms of her background and so forth, did she go to school for that?
I'm not sure.
All right. And was she working as a journalist or a writer prior to you meeting her to write this book?
Yes.
Now, in addition to that, throughout the course of the book, you do put pictures in here, and pictures of you with darker hair and less of a goatee and more of a, looks like actually one without a picture of no much facial expression whatsoever. It's a picture of you as a young police officer. Now, the purpose for these pictures in your book is really to help establish some of the things that were happening during that time period, so the reader could see visually what was going on, right?
Correct.
Now, in addition to that, in the book, you had put as well, and the book, the picture, the picture that I was looking at is this picture right here. Do you recall this picture?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and once again, it's just to show your experience while you were being a police officer in Compton, right?
Yes.
Now, in addition to that, though, you do put in the back of your book some documents that were documents that you used in furtherance of your job as a detective at some point, right?
I don't really understand that question.
Meaning, for instance, in the back of your book, you do put in here a map of the Compton area gangs, for instance.
Yes.
You also put in here, and the Compton area gangs for the jury, we're talking just to highlight how compact of an area the city of Compton was and how many different areas was claimed by different types of gangs. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. In addition to that, you also have included in here the affidavit, the search warrant that we just talked about before, right? This 40 area search warrant.
Yes.
You put that in the book as well.
Yes.
And just for the jury's edification here, for instance, none of the information in here is redacted, meaning it's not taken out by a black mark or anything like that, right?
Correct.
All right. And I'm not trying to get anybody in position here to be in trouble, but in essence, the book and the information that's in here was readily available for anyone who wanted to buy and read it.
Correct.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, did you have a publisher on this?
At the beginning, we did, yes.
Okay. And what do you mean at the beginning?
Well, it was a publishing company, and we kind of had a little conflict with them, so we decided to leave them and self-publish.
I see. And so with Lolita's help, once the book was finalized and you and Tim both felt good about the finished product with Lolita, then you just published it yourself.
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, you just go to Amazon Books, and it kind of just runs you through it. It's kind of a complex system that you have to do certain things. I mean, I didn't really do it, so I can't really tell you the exact steps because I'm not very good on the computer. I know how to turn them off and I know how to turn them on.
Well, let me ask you this in terms of what was happening with Amazon. Once you submitted it to Amazon, Amazon becomes a platform that sells the book.
Yes.
And so if someone's interested in the book, they just look it up and they click and they buy the book.
Correct.
Now, at some point, though, as they're buying the book, you receive a record as to how many people have purchased the book, right?
Yes.
And how much money you and Tim and Lolita would potentially be making for the sale of each book.
Correct.
Now, in this case, for instance, with the sale of each book, I would imagine Amazon would have taken a pretty big chunk of the proceeds from the sale of each book.
Yes. You don't make much money.
Yeah. And so even though you're selling, and with regards to Once Upon a Time in Compton, can you tell us how many of these books that you sold?
No.
Okay. I'm assuming at some point you did receive a check.
Yeah.
Okay. But not something that you could retire on.
Oh, definitely not.
Okay. And in terms of your books, do you remember how much they cost, how much you were selling them for?
I thought it was $15.99, but I'm not positive on that.
Okay. Right. Now, one of the things that's in your book, as well as you had, there was a part of the book where you had identified a MGM Grand ticket to the Tyson Seldon fight. Do you recall that particular image in your book?
I think it was, yeah, we recovered that out of Suge Knight's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with regard to that, if I show you, let me just do this real quick here. If I could approach and ask the clerk to mark this as proposed exhibit next in order.
Okay. What is the next order, Jess? The
DD.
she'll put it on there. Is it B?
DD.
Okay, got it. It'll be omitted.
Thank you.
Oh, was there any objection? I apologize.
I just need to say it first.
Oh,
No objection.
so omitted.
Mayor, put you on.
You may.
Do you recall this particular image in your book, so showing you what's been marked as BB?
Yeah, it looks like it, yes.
Okay, and that was a ticket stub, it looks like, to the Zeldin Tyson fight
Yes.
on September 7th, 1996.
Yes.
And that ticket stub was located in Suge Knight's house.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Option for the jury here so they can see. Do you recall when Suge Knight's house was searched?
The day that I think it was October 2nd, well, the day we served all 38 search warrants.
I see. And so his house was one of the houses that you were searching to basically try to quell any potential violence in Compton as well as gather information.
Yes.
Now, with regard to this particular ticket, though, because it was captured, there was an understanding between all the police officers conducting all the searches at the same time that you were looking for information leading to the murder of Tupac that had occurred in September.
Yes.
So, with regard to this ticket, for instance, because it was the Seldon Tyson fight on the night of Tupac's murder, this ticket was obtained by you or kept in evidence as part of your investigation.
It wasn't part of our investigation, though. It was for Las Vegas PD.
Right. So let's get a little bit into that. So, and I want to make sure that the jury understands. So, in terms of the actual murder investigation itself, that was the jurisdiction of Las Vegas Metro.
Yes.
And so, which I guess is difficult here, right? Because potentially everyone that's a potential suspect in the Las Vegas murder potentially would have been residing in Compton, right?
Not necessarily, but most of them did.
Yeah. And so on this particular day, when you're out executing the search warrant with all the different locations, you had invited the detectives that were assigned to the Metro homicide investigation here to come out to Compton to be present so that they can interview people if they wanted to.
Correct.
All right. And so this particular piece of information would have been something that they would have been interested in, I would assume.
Yes.
All right. Now, we talked a little bit about what was also found, and you had indicated that there were some receipts, some hotel receipts that were located. Where did I put that? Oh. I think the state had already presented this to the jury. What was the last exhibit you guys put up for the?
It's 161 and 162. It's just, that's the entire return for all locations.
Yeah.
The two are up there.
Okay. Sir, what you were showing earlier in terms of the affidavits in this case, thank you. Fair to say that the size of the affidavits that were shown to you, and then once again, this is for the state, or for the jury's edification, State's Exhibit 161. This particular affidavit was actually a lot bigger, right?
What do you mean by that?
Well, meaning, for instance, that you were targeting some 38 houses, which means that each house had its own paperwork attached to it, which would have made this document a lot bigger than what this document is right now.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And then with regards to the document, we're targeting or focusing on the first item here. Looks like was a let's see here, in State's Exhibit number 162, there was a reference here to a hotel receipt, right?
Yes.
Now, the property report here that we're looking at on 162, which I will show, this is the property report that we referred to earlier, right?
Yes.
And the hotel receipt that's on there is one of the items that was taken from this particular property, right?
Yes.
Do you have that receipt?
No.
Okay. So unlike for instance, the Suge Knight ticket indicating that there was a fight and so forth in Las Vegas, September 7th, 1996, this indicates that there was something taken, and that would have been that hotel's receipt. Or you don't have it here.
Correct.
Do you have it? Do you know where its location is at all?
No.
Now, in addition to that, you also, in one of the other homes, had indicated that there was a letter from the Excalibur Casino, and so forth. I'm going to show you this document here. This is State's Exhibit 163. And just for the jury's edification here. So it looks like here on number 1, this would have been the receipt of property taken, correct?
Correct.
And underneath it here, number 1 would show a letter from Excalibur Casino addressed to Orlando Anderson, right?
Yes.
All right. Do you know the date of this particular document?
It would have to be the same day of the search warrant.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the letter itself.
Oh, no.
Okay. And do you have a copy of that letter?
I do not know.
All right. Do you know where that letter is?
No.
All right. The next part here looks like there's an envelope addressed to, once again, Orlando Anderson. And with regards to this particular document, do you have any indication of where that document is?
No, it's booked into property. So.
Right. And that's the same thing with number 3 on miscellaneous bills addressed to Orlando Anderson, right?
Yes.
None of these documents are addressed directly to Mr. Duane Davis, okay?
Yes.
And once again, when you are searching and finding something like, for instance, the Suge Knight ticket, that document is carefully taken from the scene and put into evidence in a way that would preserve the chain of custody of something like the ticket.
Correct.
Now, in this case, when you searched either the 2 residences in this case, did you find any indication at all? Any MGM grand ticket of being on the second row of the fight? Anything at all that would indicate that Mr. Davis was in Las Vegas?
No.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, we had talked a little bit about the second search warrant. And the second search warrant, is this one here, State's Exhibit 136. Okay. Now, when a search warrant is executed in California, at the time it's executed, is it confidential or sealed?
Sometimes, yes.
In this particular case, with this particular search warrant, was this search warrant sealed?
Yes.
And was it sealed up until the time that the search had been conducted?
Yes.
Okay. When did this particular search warrant become unsealed?
I don't recall.
Okay. Fair to say, though, that if someone's charged in a crime based upon search warrants that are sealed, that search warrant would then be available for the defense to look at.
Yes.
And it would be unsealed at that point.
Yes.
And that would be the same, of course, with the search warrant that occurred at the beginning of October the year before, right?
Correct.
So in this case, with this particular search warrant here, this is dated as of May 27th, 1997. On this particular one here, you had indicated the following. This is on page 4 of this document. The information that I think we're most interested in is line 4 of that document, right?
Yes.
Meaning that, once again, these are items that were taken from this home, and those items were put into your property or evidence log.
Correct.
And number 4 is a money due bill from the Monte Carlo casino. Right? Can you tell us the date of what this money due bill was for?
No.
All right. And once again, your search in this particular regard was actually May of 1997, right? Quite a few months after the September 7th, 1996 shooting.
Correct.
In addition to that, in terms of that money due, can you tell us, for instance, who that money due bill was addressed to?
No.
Okay. Now, there were some questions by the state on that issue about the fact that this was actually a search warrant investigating into the murder of Diggy Smalls. Remember that line of questioning from the state? But fair to say, of course, that even then, as you're conducting this kind of investigation, you are still thinking about the Tupac case, right?
For sure.
Yeah, you weren't just at that particular point forgetting that the Tupac murder even occurred. You're still thinking during that time period, if you run across something you think is relevant, you would have identified it, right?
Correct.
In addition to that, though, you would have identified it, you would have called Metro to say, hey, by the way, we got something there that will help you with the Tupac murder investigation. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. There's no reason why you wouldn't have done that?
Not that I know of, no.
Now, we talked a little bit about the size of some of the people that were involved here, and I think it was DeAndre Smith you said was a pretty big guy?
Yes.
All right. And you said he was like, what, 6'2", 6'3", and about 300 pounds, something like that, big guy?
About 6'4", 300 pounds.
Okay. Did he play any sports or anything as far as you know?
I think he did. I'm not positive.
Okay.
What sport?
Now, are you aware of an individual by the name of Terrence Brown?
Yes.
And was Terrence Brown one of the individuals that was potentially a suspect in the Tupac murder?
Yes.
All right. Now, with regards to Terrence Brown, can you describe for us how, like, his size as well?
Yeah. He's approximately a little shorter than you, and just medium built.
So a good-looking guy.
Compacted.
I'm sorry?
I don't know about that, but
So it's a little bit shorter than me and about my size.
right.
Okay. Let's just put it down as I'm 6'2", so that's like I'm just kidding, 5'8" and something else. And then in terms of the at the time with Terrence Brown, you are aware that Terrence Brown actually dies in 2015.
Yes.
Right. And when he dies, do you know how he dies?
Yes.
How did he die?
He was at a marijuana dispensary in Compton, and a robbery occurred, and he got killed during the robbery.
So, based upon the way he was murdered in that case, no indication that that was some type of retaliation for the murder of Tupac in 1996 or 7?
No.
In addition to that, in 1996, I apologize. With regards to DeAndre Smith, do you know when he passed?
2004, and he died of medical complications.
Right. And as far as you know, nothing that would have been associated with any type of retribution or revenge for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Correct.
Now, Orlando is the one who passes away relatively quickly after the shooting.
Yes, approximately a year and a half.
Right. And in terms of how he passes, he was shot and killed?
Yes, you want me to tell you what happened?
Please.
Orlando Anderson was with his best friend Michael DeRoe, and they were at a burger stand in Compton. And across the street from the burger stand, there was a car wash. Orlando Anderson recognized the people at the car wash. There was 3 people sitting in the car, and he recognized one of them that owed him money for some narcotics that he didn't pay him for. So Orlando Anderson took it upon himself, and he initiated the confrontation. He drove up to the car and he exited with a gun. However, one of the persons in the other car, they had a gun too, so they had a shootout at the car wash. And then when the smoke cleared, Orlando Anderson was killed during the shootout, as well as 2 other people in the other car were killed.
And in terms of the 2 other people in the other vehicle, were they both Crips?
Yes.
So it wasn't a blood on Crip sort of shootout?
No.
It was just over money and drugs?
Yes.
Now, we've had some discussion here about Darnell Brin. And you're familiar with Darnell Brin.
Yes.
And the way I'm understanding this is that within the Southside Crips, you had 2 different factions.
Correct.
You had the Glencoe faction with Darnell Brin,
Yes.
and then you had the Burr Street faction.
Correct.
Now, in terms of the 2 different factions that we have here, the Burr Street faction was a faction that was dealing with the drugs, mostly?
I'm
That
sorry,
how it
can you repeat that?
In terms of the Burr Street faction, that they deal in drugs.
That was one of the things that they were involved in, yes.
Yeah. And in terms of the other faction, we talked a little bit about Darnell Brin. He was a shot caller.
Correct.
And he was a violent person.
He had the potential of being a violent person, yes.
Well, you recall in your book describing him as a very violent person?
I don't recall that, but if it's in there, it's what I said.
Okay. And once again, it would have been something that if it wasn't true in your book, you would have corrected it.
Yeah, I'm not saying he wasn't a violent person.
Yeah.
He definitely had the potential to be a violent person.
And isn't it fair to say, though, like even in your book, that you describe him as being someone that was implicated in some attempt murders, that kind of thing as well?
Absolutely.
Darnell Brin.
Yes.
Now, Darnell Brin is shot in the back how many days after the shooting of Tupac Shakur?
2.
And with regards to the shooting in the back, do you know who shot him in the back?
No.
Okay.
We were told it was Pyrus, though.
Right. And would that fall more into the idea of what you're saying about retaliation in this case?
Yes.
Now, there are other people that potentially were considered, I think including the initial investigation here, as being part of the Tupac murder. Do you recall a person by the name of Noel Spank Johnson?
Yes.
All right. And he is also a Southside Crip member, part of the Glencoe crew.
Correct.
All right. Do you recall a person by the name of Jerry Monk Bond?
Yes.
All right. Once again, part of the Glencoe crew.
Correct.
And then also Orlando Anderson.
Correct.
Okay. So those individuals at some point were considered to be potentially involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, when you had conducted the searches on Mr. Davis's home and the locations that we're at, did you ever find money
Not that I'm aware of, no.
No vast sums of money for somebody making 20% of $4 million a month?
No.
How about expensive clothes, like stuff that was worth, suits worth $6,000, anything like that?
I don't recall the clothing that was inside.
Yeah, but in terms of, just information about the individual's living conditions, for instance, did you find any expensive cars that he owned or anything like that? Besides the lowriders and stuff that people put a lot of work into.
Well, them are expensive cars to me, so
Yeah.
yes, we did.
And when you say lowriders, are we talking about lowriders here or BMWs?
Monte Carlos, hydraulics, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. And in terms of the Monte Carlos and the hydraulics, Mr. Davis was actually part of what they call a lowrider club in Compton?
I wasn't aware of that.
Okay. You're not aware of, let me ask this next question. But in terms of the vehicles we're talking about, they were not for, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, nothing like that. They were just modified cars.
Correct.
Now, in addition to that, going back to your book, do you have anything in here, like a disclaimer that says that, hey, we can't verify the truthfulness of the book at all?
I'm not sure.
All right. If you were just to review the book real quick, just to tell me if there is anything like that, would that help your
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't even know where to look.
It should be in the front because it would be a big warning. You want to check it out?
No, there's nothing in there to that effect then.
Okay. And would it be... Have you ever read a guy by the name of Greg Kading's book, Murder Rap?
Some of it, yes.
Can you tell us who Greg Kading was?
He was an LAPD sergeant.
Okay. Did you have any interactions with him?
No.
Did he share in any investigation that you were involved in?
No.
Did your partner have any work with him?
Yes.
And the work that we're talking about is in the task force that was assigned to investigate the murder of Biggie Smalls.
Correct.
And he was part of Tim Brennan was part of that along with Mr. Kading.
Correct.
All right. Now, we had shared a little bit about the swallowing up of Compton PD by the LA Sheriff's Department.
You call it swallowing up. I call it absorbed or whatever.
Right. Why was that?
Well, it would take, I could tell you in a couple of minutes, but it's really a 6-month-long thing that happened, but I can explain it to you if you want.
Well, I mean, obviously there's a lot of moving parts, right?
Yes.
The absorption or dismantling of a police department is a very unusual thing, right?
Yes.
And so in order for that to happen, if I can just cut right to the chase with you, was there corruption going on within the department that caused the absorption of the department back to the sheriff's department?
No.
Okay, then what was it that caused it?
It was the mayor, Omar Bradley, at the time, was being investigated by the FBI. He found out that he was being investigated by the FBI, and he blamed our chief. Right, so what he did is he put our chief and a captain off on administrative leave, and he made some allegations of missing narcotics. Okay. Now these guys were 2 30-year veterans with prestigious careers. Our department elected to do a vote of no confidence against the mayor. And this really pissed the mayor off. And he went to the city council and they voted to bring in the sheriffs. And then they never asked the citizens if that's what they wanted. He just did that upon himself. Now there was long investigation regarding the stolen narcotics, and our two captain and chief were exonerated. There's a 60-page report on it, and it was resulted in one Hispanic narcotic officer was taken to narcotics, and he was dealt with. So the bottom line is, we lost our police department, 112-year-old police department. Omar Bradley ends up getting arrested and convicted, so everybody lost here.
Yeah. And as a result of that, I think you told us earlier, you didn't stay in the city of Compton anymore. You got reassigned to another city?
No, I stayed in the city of Compton for a year, and then I elected to go to another agency.
I see. All right. And then while you were there, the other thing that you did, and you shared with us a bit about the fact that you were very well versed in the gang culture in Compton, right?
Correct.
And in terms of the well versed, meaning that you can identify and see patterns of behavior that would indicate to you maybe gang activity, for instance, right?
Yes.
And that would also include how a person dressed. We talked a little about that. I apologize. Like, for instance, even like the way a person dresses in live, right? That would help you determine maybe potentially that that person's associated with a type of gang.
Yes.
Like in this case,
No.
no. All right. But with regards to the way it's set up, though, is that did you at any point ever determine that Tupac Shakur was a member of a gang?
No,
Why not?
because he wasn't.
And when you say that, I mean, obviously he's associated with the mob, with the death row label,
Correct.
and he was also at that particular point hanging around with Suge Knight.
Correct.
And Suge Knight was an identified Mob Piru or an associate of the Mob Piru,
Correct.
as well as other people who were Mob Piru, like Mob James, for instance, that was in that association.
Yes, his entourage were all Mob Piru gang members.
Okay. But you're telling us right now that Tupac was not a gang member?
No.
Just because he was hanging around these people did not make him a gang member.
Correct.
Now, fair to say, of course, that even in the Death Row record label, there were actually Crips that were assigned, that were part of that label as well, right?
Yes.
That would have been Snoop Dogg.
Correct.
That would have been Dr. Dre.
I'm not sure about Dr. Dre. No.
How about, who's the other one that I'm thinking of? Is it Eazy?
He wasn't associated with that record label, I think. I don't think he was.
You tell me, because I'm just, I'm trying to figure it out. But fair to say, though, that within business, it wasn't about a color as much as it was about money, right? You're making money, and so you're not isolating one segment of the population from the other in terms of your product.
Correct.
Okay. Now, with regards to Mob James at that particular point, you had told us that you believed he was an OG at the
Yes.
time. Did Mob James have any indication for violence?
I never investigated him for any violence because he was in jail when I was, most of the time that I was in patrol and in the gang unit. And I don't know exactly when he got out, but when he got out, he was already older. He didn't really hang out with the younger gangsters.
I see. And with regard to this retaliation thing we talked about, you said there was some concern that once the shots were fired and Tupac was hit, that there was concern that there was going to be some type of gang war back in Compton, right?
Yes.
Now, you shared with us a little bit of how this worked. You were asleep in bed, and you get a call early morning from Reggie Wright Sr.
I don't recall if I was asleep in bed, but I was at home.
Okay. And can you tell us what time that you received the call from Reggie Wright Sr.?
I don't recall. It was a long time ago.
Okay. But would it have been still that evening or that night?
Yes.
Not the next morning or anything like that? And the reason why he would have called you is because he was your direct boss?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, you had also mentioned that this retaliation, the the shootings that occur after, you have, is it Mr. Brim's was the first shot fired between the Mall Pyru and the Southside Crips? Was he the first one shot?
Darnell?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then after Darnell, who was the next person shot?
I believe it was the next day at 713 North Bradfield. I believe 2 people were shot, and that's in Pyru territory.
You know if they were Pyru?
They were.
They were. And do you know who shot them?
No.
Right. Now, with regards to the Darnell Brim, do you know who shot him?
No.
Now, in terms of the 2 Pyru that were shot the morning after Mr. Brim, do you know how the order was given out for these people to be shot?
No.
So, no phone records, for instance, from Mr. Davis indicating that he wanted these people shot or anything like that?
Correct.
Now, after the 2 Pyru were shot, what happened next?
I believe later on, another person was shot at Pine and Bradfield in Mob Pyru territory.
And was that person a Crip or a Blood?
The person that was shot was Pyru affiliated, yes.
Okay, so 2 Pyrus are shot that day, and then later on that day, another Pyru affiliate was shot.
Yes.
All right, and do you know if that was an order that was given out by anybody to shoot that Pyru?
No.
Okay, and then the next Pyru the next person shot after that was who?
I don't recall the name, but I believe it was the 80 something South Ward Street. And
Was
that's
that-
in Crip territory?
And so that person was a Crip?
Yes.
All right, and that shot occurred when did that shooting occur?
I don't recall.
All right, and as far as you know, this is happening over the course of maybe there was 10 days. I think that was how it was framed. It was like it's a 10-day war in Compton.
Yes.
But fair to say it may have been a little bit longer, like maybe 13 days, right?
No.
Okay, let's say this. So if we go with 10 days in this, any proof at all that we can show this jury that Mr. Davis ordered any of the shootings to occur in this case?
No.
Now, in addition to that, the idea here behind the shootings, we go back to the Lakewood Mall incident, right?
Sure.
Is the Lakewood Mall incident, in your mind, the sort of the definitive act in which the war is now declared between the Mall Pyru and the Southside Crips?
That was the first incident that sparked this whole back and forth thing. Yes.
Now, let me ask you this. Did it really happen?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in your book, you identify it as happening at the Lakewood Mall,
Yes.
and it happened in a Foot Locker.
Yes.
Now, do you have any indication at all of a police report or a call for 911 to the area on a fight that occurs at the Lakewood Mall that day? No.
No.
Do you have indication at all from the security people at the mall where they would have written up a report that said, hey, we had an altercation here at the Lakewood Mall?
I don't think a report was generated by the security officers, no.
Okay. Now, fair to say, of course, there's been some description of that brawl being the kind of brawl that actually required Foot Locker to redo their entire inside because it just destroyed the inside. You recall anything like that?
I never heard anything like that. I just know there was a fight at the Foot Locker.
Right. You heard there was a fight, but you never made any effort, for instance, and it's not your job because it's Lakewood, right?
Correct.
But in essence, no verification that even Foot Locker was contacted to say, hey, did a fight break out over here on this particular day? Nothing like that.
Don't recall.
Okay. So in essence, what we have right now is what you had heard from people on the street as to what happened at this Lakewood Mall incident, right?
Yes.
Now, some people, I would assume, thought that the shooting of Tupac was in retaliation, or maybe the fight of Tupac and Orlando was in retaliation to what happened at Lakewood Mall. But as you're sitting here right now, you don't have any actual proof of the Lakewood Mall incident actually occurred.
No.
Okay.
Just
Yeah. Now, in addition to that, we had heard from you a little bit about. I'm sorry, I just have to make sure I got all my notes here. We talked a little bit about your identifying of a shot caller, right? Now, a shot caller is somebody who basically tells people what to do.
yes.
And you had said that the shot caller is somebody that if an order is given to one of the other lower people on the totem pole, they have to follow that order.
Correct.
All right. And in this particular regard, you don't know, for instance, what happened in Las Vegas, who did anything in terms of a shot call or anything like that, right?
I don't understand the question.
Meaning you don't have any proof for us today that says that, first of all, even if Keith was in Las Vegas, right? You don't have any proof of that.
His own admission. I mean,
Besides the admission, you don't have any actual physical evidence that supports that, right?
correct.
And then in terms of his admission, did you ever verify what he was telling people to see what he was saying was true?
As far as what?
Being in Las Vegas.
Did I?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So in terms of the information that was given, you're just saying that because Mr. Davis was a drug dealer and maybe had provided money for the Southside Crips or something like that, that because of that, he is a leader in the Southside Crips.
Well, there's more to it than that.
Sure. But I just want to make sure I'm clear about something here. In terms of your investigation in this case, did Keefe ever order a hit on anybody before or after the shooting of Tupac Shakur?
Not that I know of.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
All right. Redirect by Mr. Paul.
Yes, I'm going to start where Mr. Sanft left off. So, Mr. Sanft asked you if you had any proof that Mr. Davis was in Las Vegas at the time of the Tupac Shakur murder. And your response was, his admission. Is that fair to say?
Right.
Now, you have investigated hundreds of homicides. Is that right?
Correct.
Have you ever relied on a defendant's or suspect's admission to form a case?
Yes, sir.
In fact, in gang cases in particular, where witnesses are scared to come out, is a defendant's admission of committing a murder powerful evidence used to prosecute?
Yeah, that's how basically that's how most of our gang crimes get solved, is by self-admission or incrimination.
Okay, and then Mr. Sanft asked you about you don't know that whether or not Mr. Davis ordered the hit. And to be fair, you weren't in the Cadillac, were you?
No.
Okay. But let's go through Mr. Sanft's logic. You had said that Mr. Davis was a shot caller within the Southside Crips. Is that fair?
Yes.
And then let me pose this to you. If using Mr. Davis's admissions, if Mr. Brown, Terrence Brown, DeAndre Smith, and Orlando Anderson, and Mr. Davis are in a car, who is the leader in that car?
Mr. Davis.
Who is the shot caller in that car?
Mr. Davis.
And so if a shot is coming, if those four people are in a car, and shots are coming out of that, who has to give the authorization?
Mr. Davis.
Okay. So if Mr. Davis is in the Cadillac, he's the one calling that shot.
Absolutely. If he tells them not to do it, say, let's handle this back in Compton, they wouldn't have had a shooting. If he sanctioned it, then there'd be a shooting.
And Mr. Orlando Anderson, he was what you had called a gangster, right?
Absolutely.
So he would be the person that would have to listen to Mr. Davis.
Yes.
And so was it in your experience, knowing the roles of everybody in that vehicle, could Mr. Anderson shoot that gun with Mr. Davis in the car without Mr. Davis's permission?
No.
Now let's talk about your book. When was your book published?
2017.
Okay, so that would be well after Mr. Davis's proffer statement, correct?
Correct.
Be well after his 2009 statement to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
Correct.
And it might be contemporaneous, we don't know, to the time of his statement to the Death Row Chronicles.
Correct.
Regarding the, I want to talk a little bit about the LA Sheriff's Office absorbing the Compton Police Department. Is it fair to say that a function of that transfer was that some of the evidence that was retained from those search warrants just were, for lack of a better term, lost?
Yes. I mean, I didn't know it at the time. I mean, we just switched police departments, and they absorbed us, and they kind of were responsible for all the evidence, too. So I don't know what happened to it after we got absorbed by the Sheriff's Department.
Mr. Sanft mentioned Reggie Wright Sr. to you. Did Reggie Wright Sr. ever ask you to work on behalf of the mob pirates?
No.
Did you ever work on behalf of the mob pirates?
Never.
Okay. Talking about the Burris Street faction, Mr. Sanft mentioned that Mr. Sanft asked you some questions about Southsiders. Darnell Brim was actually in conflict with this Burris Street crew. Is that fair?
Yes.
But Michael Giroux was a member of the Southside Compton Crips, the Burris Street crew. Is that fair?
Yes.
I think he went by a Little Owl. Is that right?
That is correct.
Court's indulgence. Were you aware that the court actually has taken judicial notice of the fact that Little Owl was actually in custody during the September 7th, 1996 murder of Tupac Shakur?
That is correct.
Kind of hard for him to be the person responsible for the murder of Tupac Shakur. Okay. Now, Orlando Anderson, he was also a member of the Burris Street crew. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And we had talked about before, Corey Edwards was a member of the Southside Compton Crips Burris Street crew. Is that
Yes.
fair? Conceal custodies.
Agreed.
Realistically, Dr. Muller, you get, I mean, we'll get a clean copy for you, a little bit.
I don't know that.
No.
Just a couple things, sir. In terms of the publication of your book, can you tell us, you said that was accurate, right?
Yes. Tried to be.
I'm sorry?
I tried to be.
No, and it's fine. I'm not. We're not really going to knock it. I just want to know that at some point in here you do identify Mr. Davis as Keefe D. Correct?
Yes.
Do you recall the spelling of his name in the book?
No.
Do you recall how you spelt his name?
No.
Would review of your book help you in terms of how you spelt his name in the book?
Sure.
Okay. Let me make sure I got it here. You want my approach?
You may.
Okay.
Okay. And just for the record, how did you spell his name in the book?
Keefe.
Right. And do you have any reason to doubt the accuracy of your spelling of his name?
I could be misspelled. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, but in terms of, for instance, I would imagine during the time period that that's not a usual name, Keefe.
No.
And you would have learned that name Keefe was more of a nickname.
Correct.
It wasn't his birth name, for instance.
Correct.
And in terms of that name itself, you would have had, like, say, for instance, field interview cards. If you ever ran across individuals, you would put their names down and maybe their monikers or their street names or their nicknames, for instance.
Correct.
Did you ever fill out a field interview card for Mr. Davis?
I don't think I ever did, no.
Yeah. And once again, these field interview cards that you would have used are cards that would help law enforcement identify people that potentially are gang affiliated.
Yes, it does help, yes.
Yeah. And what usually would happen, I would assume, is that when you happen upon someone that you're speaking to and you identify him to be maybe a member of a gang, you would write out information about him, including his nickname and so forth, on a card that would help other law enforcement know whether or not they're affiliated with a gang or not.
Correct.
So in this particular regard, though, you being the detective for the gang unit in Compton, which according to your book was actually very small. At some point it starts out with you and Tim as being the main gang detectives in Compton.
Yes.
And so you had a lot of people to go through, but even then you don't recall ever filling out a field interview card identifying him as a gang member.
No, but he self-admitted it to me. I mean, we go out there, that's all, I see the same people every day because Compton's such a small city. So every time I saw someone, if I stopped and filled out a field card, that's all I'd be doing. So I talk to these guys and they self-admitted to me. They tell me their nicknames.
Yeah.
So
And
that's what happened with Mr. Davis and I.
And fair to say, once again, this is a form of keeping records, right? Is that if you ever have a police officer who's not with your same knowledge and experience on those streets, they could look at those field interview cards to help them determine who Mr. Davis is, right?
That's correct.
No further questions, John?
Any redirect?
Yes, sir.
Redirect, actually.
With regards to Mr. Davis, did he ever hide the fact that he was a member of the Southside Compton Crips?
No.
Was he actually quite open and proud of the fact that he was a member of the Southside Compton Crips?
Yes.
Objection to that speculation and description.
Okay, I'll actually rephrase.
Okay,
Did
so I'll sustain.
Mr. Davis evince behavior that made you believe that Mr. Davis was proud of being a member of the Southside Compton Crips?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, did he ever hide being a member of the Southside Compton Crips?
No, whenever I would see Mr. Davis, he'd always be in the company of other Southside Crips, too.
And did he ever self-identify as a member of the Southside Compton Crips?
Yes.
Is that it for you, Mr. Poole?
Yes.
Anything else, Mr. Sanft?
No, no.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions for this witness? Okay, we have a few. All right, a couple questions. You got a lot of questions. Okay. Why is Tupac not seen as a mob pyro while in company of other members, but Mr. Davis is?
Well, there's nothing that documented Tupac as a Pyru. Now, he associated with them, but he didn't live their lifestyle. He was a rapper. He did show some allegiance to the mob Pyru. However, he wasn't active. He wasn't out in the streets gang banging or whatever. He was this rap mogul, and I think he liked that lifestyle.
Okay. From what you have observed regarding Reggie Wright Jr., would he have been considered affiliated or in connection with mob Pyru or any other gangs?
No. Reggie was the head of security for Death Row Records, he was actively employed, and the difference is the entourage, they were paid by Suge Knight, but they played a different role. Reggie could carry a firearm like the rest of the people that he employed, but the entourage, not saying they didn't carry firearms, but they couldn't do it legally. So there's a big difference there.
Is it fair to assume there wouldn't need to be orders from Mr. Davis for members of the Crips to carry out retaliatory shootings, considering there was an active war between Mob Piru and the South Side following the shooting of Tupac? In other words, is the order implied even if the shot caller does not explicitly say shoot?
Yes, if the shot caller's not there, then gang members are going to do what they do. If they're going to go out hunting, they're going to go out and shoot, even though it might not be sanctioned by a shot caller. But if he's present, they're most likely they're going to do what Mr. Davis tells them to do. But if he's not present, then they're going to do what they do.
Did Orlando get permission to have that shootout at the car wash, seeing that he was a gangster and not an OG?
No, it's like I said, Mr. Davis wasn't there. These guys are gangsters, and when they confront somebody, I mean, it's on. It's going to be on. He doesn't need to be sanctioned by Mr. Davis. Now, if he does something wrong, when he gets back, if he brings heat on the neighborhood or whatever for doing something stupid, then he'll be disciplined for it. But when they're out in the street gangbanging, it's a whole different story because Mr. Davis is not present.
Did the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department ask Compton PD to help them with the murder investigations at the time that Compton searched homes on both sides, or was that something you took your own initiative?
We took the initiative to ask them to come down, and once they were down here, they never asked us for help.
Okay. Any follow-up based on that, Mr. Palal?
Yes, Your Honor. With regards to the distinction of whether Mr. Shakur or Mr. Wright were gang members, is it fair to say that you don't become a gang member by hanging around other gang members?
That's correct.
And you had mentioned earlier that you had to put in some work in order to become a gang member.
Yeah, you have to live that life in order to be considered mob pirate.
And with regards to putting in work, what are some activities that one does? Not specific to mob or Southside, but just in the gang culture. What type of work do you have to put in order to be considered actually a gang member as opposed to a guy who hangs around gang members?
You're going to be out there being active, doing drive-by shootings, getting in fight with other gang members, carjacking, anything that's going to get you some respect within the gang. They're going to be out there doing it.
So you had mentioned acts of violence, primarily shooting. Is that
Yes.
fair? In fact, that's you had mentioned how Orlando Anderson got put on is being part of a group that John had shoot. Is that fair?
That's correct.
And then you would also, with being part of the narcotics trade, and I guess that's too of a lawyerly word to say, selling drugs, is that one of the ways that you get considered putting in work to become a member of a gang?
Yes.
And as long as that money is going towards the gang.
Yes, because money made from the sale of narcotics is the lifeline of every gang in Compton. So the money that they get from selling narcotics, of course they buy more drugs, they buy more weapons, but most of these guys don't work. So the money made from the sales of narcotics, they buy cars, they pay their rent, everything that they do is generated from the sales of narcotics, the money made from that.
And so while Mr. Shakur or Mr. Wright Jr. may have been around the mob Piru, is there anything to suggest that they were putting in work to become members of the mob Piru?
Definitely not.
And let's contrast that with Mr. Davis. Was it, in your observation, training, and experience with Mr. Davis, engaged in the narcotic sale for the purpose of benefiting the Southside Compton Crips?
Absolutely.
So pass the witness.
Okay. Any questions based on the juror questions, Mr. Sanft?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here. You are excused.
Thank you.
Last witness for the day.
Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our last witness for today. We are going to recess for the evening. During this recess, you are admonished not to talk or converse amongst yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected to the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial of any person connected with this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, internet, and radio, or form or express any opinion on any subject connected with the trial until the case is submitted to you. We'll see you guys back here at 1 p.m. For further presentation of evidence. Please rise for the jury. For the record, the jury has exited the room. Anything we need to address outside the presence?
Nothing from this.
Well, one thing. Mr. Sanft asked if we could admit the entire 180-page return from the search warrant. We had no objection to that, and so we will bring a clear stamp to put in tomorrow. Also, we still need to correct the 2017 to 717 transcript and audio. I'll have that brought forward tomorrow.
What exhibit will the return be?
I have no idea.
Will it be a defense or state?
It's the defense.
Defense next in line, so that would be
WW.
WW. Okay, sounds good.